I'm Jason with the All Things Open team. We're here with Erik. Welcome to the We Love Open Source Studio. We're going to talk about supporting open source maintainers, emerging technology, and more. Please introduce yourself to the ATO community.
Okay, I'm Erik Thorelli. I am the DevRel lead at CodeRabbit.
Great. Welcome to the studio. What excites you about open source technology, and why is it important to you?
I've got many things. I had to stop myself writing all these notes here. But I think the first thing is that it's in the name. It's open, so you can see all the source, and that's useful in so many different ways. Like one for me, I think is especially personal is the learning aspect of it, where you can just go see what everyone's doing, how they built things, and you can't get that at a regular job because you're just in like one repo, one project, and everyone's got the tribal knowledge, their own patterns, opinions, everything like that, and that's baked in. And you can go on in a career, and if you've only had like 2-3 jobs and you've never looked at open source, you only know 2 or 3 ways to do things. But if you go on and, after kind of understanding how an application or system can work,
wow.
Yeah, I have done that many times with standees, and it's a loud sound. It's scary. So you with open source, like once you kind of understand like how an application works, like let's say it's full stack web application, then and one programming language, you can basically go into an open source repo and you just see, whoa, they're doing 90% of the same things I'm doing, but 10% is different. Why is it different? How's this hook up? What's going on here? And you can basically, I'm not like a kind of hype beast blog person or something, but I can imagine someone being like, it's the life hack of a software engineer. The number one life hack is just looking at open source.
Yeah.
It's just playing around with open source. So yeah.
Let's talk about supporting open source. Can you describe how CodeRabbit is supporting open source maintainers and contributors?
I'll try to cut to the chase on these. So 2 really big things. One, CodeRabbit's free for open source to use. So I should probably say what CodeRabbit is. It's a AI-powered code review. So it works at the PR level. We think that itself is a very, very useful tool. We're nearing in around 100,000 open source repos and projects that use us. And that just helps the reviewer augment their job of review. And then, so it's free for open source by default. You don't have to apply. There's no program, nothing like that. If your repo is on GitHub and it's public, you got CodeRabbit for free.
Awesome.
And the second thing is, and we just eat the costs on that. The second thing is $1 million in cash. That's our pledge this year for open source. We've already been doing a bunch of sponsorship and thought, why not put a number on it? That's really useful, I think, because unlike offering a product for free, you're kind of like forcing that on someone or assuming that your tool is the best or something like this. And instead, what open source maintainers need the most is just more resources, and they know what they need. So just giving them cash so they can get those resources.
Great.
So, yeah.
Is there an application process for that, or is that something that's brand new?
So we just, I joined, and they've been doing it for a very long time, especially for projects that they use. The founders are like very pro open source. One of the reasons I joined. They've just been doing it a long time. So I think we have a blog post, and you can apply that way. And we still just kind of like, oh, we're using this thing. This is cool. Or, oh, hey, this person's doing something really good. Or, I talked to some people on Tuesday last week. We did a JavaScript trivia night in SF. I run like a bunch of things like that. There's these people that it's the Mostra folks. I don't know if they're okay with me calling them out on this, but I think it's a good story for them too. I was like, Mostra is a TypeScript AI framework for building like agents, whatnot. It's open source. They're the folks behind Gatsby that they're now doing this. I was like, man, like you don't have a sponsors thing on your, can we like just give you guys some money because we love what you're doing and want to support? And they're like, well, we're venture backed but who really needs it is the guys working on Hono, which is the lightest, most minimalist JavaScript way to run JavaScript, especially at the edge. So if you're on Cloudflare, stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, like that right there to me is like the ethos of open source. Awesome. Is like, we've got what we need. These people need help. That's the kind of community. I love it. Yeah. I
love it. That's the way it works. That's the way it should work. There's a lot of discussion about AI's role in development. Do you think AI will replace developers?
I don't think it's like the right framing of it. It's like, will like compilers replace developers, or like will a more abstract language replace developers, something like that, or faster computers now that your code can run faster and all that, compiling and all that. Sorry, I'm on like 4 hours of sleep. The main thing that I think is happening and will happen is that we just augment things. There's things that like no one really wants to do. Like I don't want to, every time I'm making a code change, manually go through every single file in my repo. No one can do that, but a computer can, because it can go really fast. And then I think those kinds of things that have traditionally been really good, where computers have really just excelled, going really fast, but they're extremely naive. You can do some interesting things where you have some kind of something in the driver's seat to just try to kind of organize these tool calls that you're making and try to make sense of it. It's like, okay, well, I built the abstract syntax tree. The AI didn't build it. The AST grep did. And then you have an agent say, well, that doesn't look right. But you didn't have some kind of test or static tool to say that doesn't look right, but okay, that doesn't look right. We should call these kinds of tools to check on it. So having that, like just this light agency layer, really accelerates developers. So I don't think it's here to replace developers.
Got it. Great. Outside of AI, what other existing or emerging technologies should we be talking about?
I think I started on looking at quantum computing about 10 years ago when IBM released like an open platform to just play around, like simulated. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And I love that, like something that's super weird and it makes you think differently. But it's always hard. Like I'm not going to make any future predictions other than I guess like, AI is here to augment and help. But I would say probably like larger AI systems, there'll be like new emergent kind of abilities. And then space seems really cool. I hope that can be done in a way that is beneficial to humanity and not to, a small group of very wealthy people that, yeah. But I don't know. I think there's so much opportunity to discover new things right now. So many tools. The world's kind of open and known in a lot of ways that was never before that way. Like we're in a generation where so many things are open.
Yeah.
And I think there's just so much good that can happen when things are open.
Okay. Well, let's drill down into the tools. What's a new tool that you've been using that's making you more productive these days?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is the one I had a really hard time with. Because over the last 2 years, like I've kind of been set in my ways. Like IDEs, I was, there was Notepad, there was Microsoft Front Page, Dreamweaver, then like TextMate, Sublime Text, I was kind of good. And then Atom, and I was like, whoa, this, you can like do kind of more stuff. And there was another one around the time of Atom. There was like Facebook's Nuclide, which was like their fork, and I was building like React Native back in like 2015. And I was like, oh, cool, it's got a lot of nice things. And then VS Code dropped. And then VS Code was my IDE for like about 8-9 years. And I didn't think twice. Like I tried out a couple of like some JetBrains ones that were really for me. I tried Visual Studio at a .NET shop, and I was like, oh, okay, but no, I want this light thing. And then over the last 2 years, like not only is my IDE like I'm using Zed right now, but that it's changing all the time. I'm like back in the terminal, but like doing things that I've never done before, and like okay, ghosty. I feel like I was on iTerm too for 10 years or whatever. And as ghosty, I was like, yes, this is why I want minimalist things that can do their thing really, really well, really, really fast. Bun, if in JavaScript, and that they're doing some really cool stuff. I don't know if that's like in the category of the previous question of like what cool things are going to happen in the future, but like Bun is really, really interesting where they're going, and they're really thinking about JavaScript in a different way. It's not just like, oh, replace Node and replace Express and replace, all these other things, your package manager, all that, but like how to think about in the given state that we're in right now and all that we've learned, how would you rethink this in the most easy to kind of understand way to build applications and do it incredibly fast, like written in Zig and all that. So I don't know. I think I told you at the beginning that I can yap a lot and that there's so much I'm excited about. Like if I can do this as an answer, simple answer is all the tools. It's just like exploring right now. There's so much cool stuff out there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave us like 5 answers. That was great. All right, we're going to end with the hot fix a minute. Are you ready, Erik?
Oh God. Okay.
Don't overthink it.
Okay.
It's going to be fun.
That'll be really hard for me, but okay.
Linux, Mac, or Windows?
Oh, it depends on where you're using
Answer
it.
one.
Oh, I'm Mac on personal. Yeah.
Okay. Books, movies, or podcast?
I feel like the right answer is books, but I'm going to go with books and podcast.
Just one answer is fine. Pizza, salad, or tacos?
Pizza.
Rock, country, or hip hop?
Rock.
Star Wars, Star Trek, or stargazing?
Star Trek.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini?
Depends on who's just released a model.
The future of AI is helper bots or robot takeover?
Helper bots.
All right. Thanks, Erik, for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Have a great time.
Thanks.